fantastic story.
The first episode of the second season is a nice reminder of how the show is contradicting its own premise and the idiotic anime community doesn't get it. As soon as it begins, you are reminded that despite the claims of it being a deconstruction of isekai, it's still a power fantasy.
Subaru is human. He's not strong. He is a ordinary human being thrown into a fantasy world.
If Subaru is not a harem lead and is instead a normal person, why is he a neat and a dork who, the moment he realizes he's in a different world, he doesn't look for a way home and instead runs after waifus? And why are most of the girls all over him, even the extremely young ones? Is that what a normal person is like in the minds of delusional otakus?
Subaru, he's experienced failure many times, yes, but he's always been able to correct it. Obviously, other characters, they don't have that luxury of fixing things.
And don't get me started on the double standards of the return by death bullshit. If Subaru is not OP, then why does he have such an OP power that nobody can counter?
He doesn't want to die, even though he knows he comes back, he doesn't want to die.
And if pain is a lot worse than death, which is why he's not using it actively for resetting the plot every time he messes up, then why is he willingly ending himself?
Holy crap, Subaru's back in it again. He's literally suffering and there's nothing he can do about it.
The big fuss everybody was yapping about during the first season was how painful it is every time he dies, and therefore he does his best not to die. And here he is abusing that power by ending himself, so he will not have to suffer through the negative consequences. It's the definition of a cop-out.
I think many are going to be absolutely shocked to find out that Subaru can't fix everything. There is actually things that he cannot fix.
And then it's all that bullshit about his power not being a panacea to every problem because he cannot control the save point. He cannot reset everything that went wrong, such as being an asshole to Emilia or preventing Rem from getting magically forgotten. If that is true, then why has Emilia already forgiven him by abusing the very ability that is not supposed to be a cop-out? He defeated that whale monster by resetting his progress until he did it right and impressed her.
Him assumed that he was an MC that deserved everything, but in reality he didn't, and he's kind of had a huge wake-up call.
So much for not being able to rely on that and having to face the consequences of his actions. You can bet your sweet ass the same thing will happen with Rem. He will keep ending himself until he has a perfect playthrough on how to return her memories. There is no tension, nothing is at stake, there is no time pressure, it's all bullshit.
ReZero has officially returned. It's been years. At long last, Season 2 is here.
And the thing that pisses me off the most is how nobody gets what I describe above. The anime community is just happy to get another season. The definition of consume product and be excited for more products.
I'm so happy I could sit down and talk about this fantastic story because it's just like, it's been too long. Fantastic story.
You believed the show needed more maids serving the supposed normal MC? Well, there you go. Now there's a new one with sharp teeth, and even the lolly became a maid so it can serve him as well. From the age of 5. You want more? We got more. An attention-seeking witch which is info-dumping at the same time she is seducing the supposed normal MC. Did I mention she's dead? Subaru is so normal, even ghosts want to have sex with him. Having said that, holy crap, does the author treat women as objects or what? Every time he doesn't know what to do with a waifu, he knocks her unconscious, so Subaru has to protect them. Because that's the closest thing he has to an objective. Protecting sleeping beauties who, like in the fairy tale, they will instantly be all over him the moment they wake up. Which is exactly what happened with the half-elf waifu. First thing she does when she wakes up is yelling, "Subaru is mine, get away from my master!" Remember when she hated him for treating her like shit? Where did that negative repercussion, which can't be fixed by his otherwise not broken power, go to? You can already tell what Rem is going to do as soon as she wakes up. Remember when she butchered him to death in an earlier playthrough? Thank goodness his otherwise not broken power didn't negate that, so he could make her fall in love with him when just a few minutes ago she chopped him into little pieces! And holy smokes, what happened to normal traveling? Subaru is now teleporting out of nowhere in weird places. It's like the author doesn't know how to make him go there normally, and he has to use cheap magic so whatever shit he has in mind can happen in any way he likes. Thank goodness these powers are not broken, because they would make the MC not to come off as a normal person. There is a cliffhanger where he teleports back home, and we are supposed to be curious to see what he's going to do there. Although we are not. We know he hates reality and will do his best to run back to the magical fantasy land where sleeping beauties and maids and ghost witches love him for being normal and with not broken powers at all. Can't wait to see more normal interactions where he teleports wherever the plot wants him to be and use his totally not broken powers for seducing more waifus. After, of course, I slip through all the goddamn boring talking, stop talking and show us suffering and waifus regarding an average otaku like you and me who hates the real world and wants to escape to a fantasy land that has video game save slots. So relatable! And that's what ReZero is all about.
Fantastic story.
And here it is, the dreaded episode where Subaru, supposed, realizes he's not special and this is what, supposed, makes the show a subversion of isekai. I already saw videos of people deriding the supposed depth of this pretentious power fantasy. I am not going to clip them because I am bored and you know what they will say anyways. All you need to know is that they are full of bullshit as always. I got 5 things that prove why this episode is nothing special, and on top of that why it is more of the same bullshit. Number 1. This is far from the first time Subaru realizes he's not special. It happens every few episodes when things don't go his way, and he ends up crying on the lap of a waifu. Saying he just realized it now is a lie, because he constantly does, before forgetting it and going back to thinking he's special for another 3 episodes. Rinse and repeat. Number 2. The scenes with his parents had no build-up. This is the first time we see them and therefore there is little gravity behind what is going on. If they were introduced in the beginning of the story and half of what is going on was established back then or during a few flashbacks, then there would be an actual reason to care about them and their relation with Subaru. Instead of that, we had 28 episodes of a protagonist who doesn't have a backdrop or established motivations that don't go beyond chasing after waifus. Number 3. Even if some of you can magically accept stuff that should have been established in the very beginning as amazing characterization after 28 episodes of not being there, it won't change the fact that his parents are not real. He didn't actually return to his world, and he isn't actually interacting with them. It's all an illusion made by a witch. It's fake, hot air, doesn't matter. We are literally watching a show where the power fantasy is real and the real world is fake. That's messed up. Number 4. The illusion was created by a witch that was only introduced now, just like Subaru's parents. There is no gravity behind whatever she does because there is no build-up to her as a character. She didn't even establish how she's doing all that shit when she is dead, or why she's doing them when there is nothing to gain. Basically, she's dead and does a shit for no reason. Just like the creativity of modern anime. This is not good writing, so why are you pretending like it is? And number 5. What the fudge do you think is going to happen next? You honestly think Subaru is going to return to the real world and make friends? No, he's going back to chasing after waifus in this fictional power fantasy for honorary otakus, which was the case since the very beginning. What value is there in his realization when nothing is going to change? That's the hypocrisy of ReZero that so many are defending. It's escapism fantasy that pretends to be a subversion, when down to it it's only fooling around with a down-to-death premise without actually changing anything. It's the 10th time Subaru realizes he's not special. His supposed development came out of nowhere, through characters that were just established, through magic that works however it suits the plot, and through illusions instead of real life. Subversion of isekai, my ass! That's why Welcome to the NHK was, is, and forever will be the actual king of anti-escapism. ReZero is garbage for pretentious overthinkers who think light novels are more than toilet paper.
Fantastic story.
So Subaru goes back to the mansion. Why? For the same reason he does everything. To check out his waifus. What, you thought he has anything else to do in the show? He's just going from one waifu to another. At that point he dies for the millionth time, and the retarded audience who likes this shit gets a boner by his suffering for yet another time. Which is the only reason they like the show. Because all the rest is just talking and talking and talking. Completely forgettable stuff nobody cares about, as they wait impatiently for the next time Subaru is going to die horribly. And then that time finally comes and everybody wakes up because there is fake tension once again instead of boring talking. And I say fake because there are no consequences. No matter how many times someone gets brutally murdered, he will be fine when time resets. There is no permadeath, and anyone who says there is a complete retard.
Rim is now technically permanently gone for the time being, and she can't, from what we know, come back for now.
There is a part where he doesn't die immediately because he gets saved, and they try to make it seem like, oh shit, he didn't die right away, which means the save point will change and everybody will remain dead, which is obviously a lie because he gets killed anyways a few minutes later and time resets as normal. What a pile of shit, trying to fool you into thinking his power is not fixing every problem. What kind of a retard would fall for that?
He's pressed for time. He has to be moving. He has to go. And he knows now that return by death doesn't necessarily help him.
So Subaru resets as always and tries to find a different way for defeating the slutty assassin, because for some reason he forgot he can insta-kill anyone he likes by telling him he has returned by death. So much for learning from his mistakes. What amazing character development, forgetting his own progress. Not to mention his emotional development. Remember how much he was freaking out every time he went back in time? Well, fuck that. After a million times, now he doesn't feel a thing. Look at him acting like his usual happy self moments after he was brutally gutted to death. Then he gets tied up and abandoned in a dungeon for 3 days in a row. 3 days, all alone and tied up in a dungeon. That would be enough to drive anyone mad. How does he behave when he is finally free? By laughing and not holding a grudge towards his captor, who for some reason is now gay tsundere for him. Holy shit, what a tonal shift is that! From torture porn tragedy to gay tsundere comedy in an instant! What amazing character development! He changes personality in a single second. Meanwhile, the rest of the world proves what a normal, average, and definitely not overpowered main character he is, by calling him someone by being unable to exist without him so they don't stop looking for him. Yeah, completely normal. And now the painful waiting for the next time he dies horribly with no consequences begins anew.
There is a lot to tackle and a lot to really just think about. Fantastic story.
Let's see what new and exciting things have happened in this episode that hasn't happened in any other episode. Subaru is about to be killed. That's fresh and I don't know what's going to happen next. It can't be something as predictable as dying and going back in time, thus making death completely meaningless. He's supposed to friends jumping and help him out so he won't be killed. That's new and hasn't happened in the exact same way just 2 episodes ago. It's also a very tragic moment because his friends are dead. Forever? They are never coming back? I mean, they definitely come back once time resets, thus making their sacrifice completely meaningless. But they are otherwise perma-dead. For now. That means they will forever be dead for 5 minutes. This is so tragic, unexpected, and above all, irreversible. But look on the bright side. Subaru is still alive and can now continue to help out the others who are not dead yet. And by others who are not dead yet, I mean the entire world that froze to death because Subaru is still alive and here to help it stay alive. Thank goodness he didn't die and was instead saved by his friends. Something bad might have happened if he died. What will Subaru do now that he is all alone on a dead world? There is no way to turn back time by, let's say, killing himself. Nah, that would be nasty. Let's instead have bunnies that eat him alive. I repeat, bunnies that eat him alive. LOL. Where did that come from? Oh well, it's something new and completely changes the plot because time resets when Subaru dies. Something he couldn't do by himself by just killing himself. You didn't see that coming? By the way, those cannibalistic bunnies are really evil, ain't they? Because of their evil act, Subaru is now punished by going back in time when he is fully healed. His friends are alive, and the world hasn't frozen to death. Man, such evil bunnies, did you see how much harm they caused? Then we get a summary of sorts where Subaru recollects all the times he or someone else died horribly. It's like a ReZero best-of moments, where we revisit all those wonderful times that made us care about all the characters who died and came back to life a few seconds later, as well as reminding us why this show is so deep. Because of the gore porn that helps us to remember all the characters for their complex personalities and really meaningful actions that are not undone in every episode, such as all the good Subaru's friends did when they saved him in this episode. This was really helpful and didn't magically erase from the plot. And then we get something fresh and original when Subaru cries on the lap of a waifu in order to turn back to his usual self a few minutes later. This has never happened before and proves once again why it's such a masterpiece. Or at least that's what Reddit thinks. Every other show proved to be a disappointment by now. The highly anticipated God of High School was just a badly written fighting shonen, despite being hyped up as being Korean, which means better than all other anime. Sword Art Online proved to be a badly written power fantasy for gamers, which didn't finally get good and corrected all its problems because Kawahara Reki really improved his writing, and the highly acclaimed Oregairu became just another possible school romance. But ReZero, on the other hand, is better in every regard, because it has time resets that kill all forms of tension, waifus so the otakus can fight over who is the best, suffering and misery that reflects the mentality of the average modern anime fan, and above all, no negative consequences or time pressure that will cause anxiety to the oversensitive snowflake audience. And that is why ReZero is a masterpiece that deserves to get episodic vlogs that are masked as reviews, which are more than twice the duration of the actual episode.
Can we all just admit to ourselves that ReZero is a classic anime in the making, but we watch is suffering. It is downright a masterpiece, but we watch is suffering. Every little detail that is jam-packed within this series is absolutely mind-blowing, but we watch is suffering, is super emotional, and it really hits. Like, it just straight up hits you right in the chest. But we watch is suffering. ReZero is probably one of my favorite anime of all time. But we watch is suffering. Fantastic story.
In this thrilling episode of ReZero, Subaru is sitting down, waifus appear out of nowhere, infodump some bullshit, and disappear just as easily. There is absolutely no sense of plot or discovery, because it comes down to boring infodumps and waifu baits. And before some of you say they are not waifus, they totally are, since they openly say they love him, and they are all fictional. They don't exist, it's all an illusion, just like the actual waifus. That's what ReZero comes down to, sitting down and listening to waifus while sleeping. There is no tension, no progress, no nothing. And I like how most starts of the show are constantly getting worked up over all the progress Subaru loses every time he dies, as if something goes to waste. Like that dude who said he's his friend, and which for some reason they think he's not his friend after the reset. Why doesn't anyone complain about all the edgy shit he's undoing every time he dies? Like that cereal box tiger from last episode, he saved Subaru's life in this episode, while in the previous episode he wanted to kill everyone. Why are you not complaining about that getting lost, Oh well, this episode was so empty of content to the point there is no way for me or anyone else can make something that is going to be longer than a couple of minutes. 45 minutes! 45 fucking minutes of overanalyzing waifu info dumps that appear and disappear in a dream! How much mental gymnastics do you need for pulling that shit, Chibi? We are back to the good old Tokyo Ghoul days when the absence of plot lets the pretentious overthinkers to talk about whatever bullshit comes to mind. Because as Peter Griffith has taught us, a boat is a boat, but a mystery box can be anything. Lesson of the day, the less plot your show has, the more people will talk about it in order to add the plot that should have been there from the start.
Fantastic story.
In this thrilling new episode, the loli witch does a harem no jutsu and now there is like 100 of them. Because why not? More loli waifus is always a good thing in a harem. They go to fight a witch along with the guy who wanted to murder Subaru just 2 episodes ago, and they all die in his glorious name. So much character development by never being against him in this timeline, therefore there never was any character development. I wonder how Subaru is going to react now that all his friends are dead again. It can't be something as predictable and repetitive as dying and going back to square one. And yet that is exactly what happened for the 20th time. He's a bit shocked, then sleeps on a waifu's lap, and he's back to his usual self. Nobody saw this coming after 20 times of happening in the exact same way. And then the rest of the episode is once again just him talking to his waifus, where nothing happens and is therefore filler until the next time he dies and the exact same shit will happen once more. What is subversion? It's really worth making 50-minute videos about something that is repeating itself for 20 times. And because this video came up short, here is a comment I found that sums up the appeal of this thought-provoking broken record. I like the MC because he's not overpowered like many other isekai MCs are. Yes, he's immortal, he cannot lose, he has no pressure of time, he never loses anything, always returns back to full mental and physical health, none of his friends remain dead, eventually he gets a flawless playthrough, but he's not overpowered in the least. He also gets a good amount of character development and his character has a lot of depth and realism. Yes, he constantly flip-flops to being a jackass and sleeping on the laps of his 100 waifus after he dies. Going in circles means character development. and he's such a deep and realistic character. And meet Otaku who has his own harem and broken superpowers. It's unlike anything we've seen before. It's also very interesting to watching him suffer insurmountable struggles, and how he eventually triumphs over it all. Yes, without any time pressure or loss of a single thing, or even the possibility of actually failing, makes all that very interesting. ReZero is a masterpiece. And here is someone criticizing everything I said about the anime. Your points are just, this thing is stupid cause I don't like it. Yes, cause I never give any reasons as to why I don't like them, right? So this guy thinks any plot has good storytelling as long as it has a beginning, a middle, and an ending. Which is something every story has, and therefore there is no such thing as bad storytelling. Proper execution, what is that? Also, good storytelling is only caring about pandering your audience instead of writing what you want to write. Fuck your ideas and innovation, just give us waifus and edgy suffering. Why don't you like people talking and talking and talking and info-dumping boring shit instead of the plot going anywhere? If they explained it, you're not allowed to dislike it. Were you just blinded by the waifus that are just constantly being rubbed on your face in every episode? Yes I am, in the same way the fanboys are blinded as well, since the only objective Subaru has is to save his waifus, and the thing they mostly talk about is why Rem is better than Satella or some shit like that. I am blinded to the brilliance of this anime. ReZero is a masterpiece.
Fantastic story.
ReZero proves once again why it is deep, meaningful, and amazingly written. It has lolis begging to be brutally murdered by a neat otaku.
My personal favorite episode of the entirety of ReZero.
It has more lolis who control monsters that butcher to death hundreds of innocent people.
My personal favorite episode.
It has even more lolis being gutted alive and their insides splattering all over the place.
My personal favorite episode.
It has people turning to glass and then mercilessly smashed to pieces.
My personal favorite episode.
It has people being sadistically stabbed in the eye and allowed to live so they can die by the hemorrhage and pain.
My personal favorite episode.
It has people getting skewered through with hands when they're least expected by those they trust.
My personal favorite episode.
It has people with their heads getting smashed to pieces when they are defenseless while trying to help someone else.
My personal favorite episode.
It has people getting chopped to little pieces by killer bunnies.
My personal favorite episode.
It has waifus staring to psychopaths who let Subaru sleep on their lap and they laugh hysterically as he's dying after his body got shredded to pieces.
My personal favorite episode.
And of course it makes sure to tell us none of this matters because he's just going to go back in time when everyone is alive and well. And he doesn't give a shit because he cannot do it as many times as he likes, with no negative repercussions.
My personal favorite episode.
And that is why ReZero is Anime of the Year for its depth, meaningful events, and thought-provoking concepts.
Oh, beautiful.